My work is kind of cross-cutting. I work with all manner of people, including persons, children with disability who come to us and so on, and also have been in this for a very long time.
Turn around. Turning point. Yeah. He's a turn around. Hello and welcome to Springboard, your virtual university. My name is Albert Okran. Welcome you to Ghana's foremost developmental program and that place where the greatest minds in the world converge. Springboard is brought to you by the Springboard Roadshow Foundation in partnership with MTN Ghana, the Enterprise Group, and the Ghana Growth Program, which is a collaboration between Mastercard Foundation and Springboard. Today we continue our conversation about changing narratives. This land of our birth is a beautiful country, but sometimes we tell the story of Ghana as a story of retrogression and pain and shame and mistakes. But there are bright spots, people doing incredible things, people reshaping the story of our country. So we've made a decision here at Springboard to just throw light on these people. We call it changing narratives. A Ghana that is progressive, beautiful, desirable, worth emulating. And that is why my guest for today is in the studio. Perfect example. So she is a Christian theologian, a lawyer, a licensed professional counselor, a trainer, and an author. And our dear sister, Dr. Angela Dwamena-Aboagye. Doc, good to see you.
Good to see you, Reverend Albert.
It's always a
and
blessing.
You look good.
Thank you. Thank you. You're looking awesome.
Thank you very much.
It's a blessing to see you, and officially, let me congratulate you on your winning the overall award for the MTN Heroes of Change.
Glory to God. Glory to God. Thank you so much, Reverend. It's been amazing.
Beautiful thing.
Yes.
It was a memorable night for all of us. Even for myself as a part of the jury. It was just an honor to see a deserving winner step onto that podium. That intervention is very special, and that night was a night to remember. How did you feel that day?
It's hard to describe. You know, I was just happy inside me. I didn't know I was going to win. All 10 of us were winners.
Incredible lineup.
Yeah. And I'd watched the videos, video after video, and honestly, they were amazing things that people are doing. Anytime I watch anybody, I said, wow, you know, this is really... Reverend. So I told the Lord, it would be nice to win, but I mean, let your will be done. Everybody here is a star, you know. So I was like, well, even if I don't, it's still, we won anyway, you know. So when I was declared the winner, it was like, wow. Such a big, pleasant surprise. You know, I was just, I was there. It's something. Really something.
I know you've won several things. You've been recognized in different ways. How different was this particular recognition for you?
First of all, that this was an award where many people had submitted nominations, and I heard it was upwards of 2,000.
Yes.
So
is that big?
Yes. Okay, so as we say in our language, you know, till 10. Already it was like, wow, I mean, we've won. And so that's one thing. And secondly, this will be the first ever award that comes with money for a project or your project. All the other 20-something ones have never come with money. You know, very nice honors and everything. But this one is really special.
No, I've been part of the Heroes of Change from the very first day. And I've always told Team MTN, the foundation, that this is one intervention that is one of the most beautiful things that they do. And it's something they should keep, because I get to interface very closely with the work. Right. And for every work that is celebrated, there are 10 others that if you saw, you like, this could easily.
Exactly.
Easily.
This is the impression I get.
Easily.
Yes.
Be a winner.
Yes.
And so the authenticity of this award is such that the people who are being celebrated know that there are other great winners.
Absolutely.
And they have no clue about the fact that they've been chosen till the minute.
No clue. Which is even amazing. Like, no clue.
So how's the interaction between yourself and the other winners that were there?
Good. You know, we went in the hotel from the night before, and so we met in the morning to rehearse, kind of, and we were just happy. You know, we met each other, introduced ourselves, hugged, you know, congratulated each other. Nice feeling, very nice feeling. And I was just happy to be in the midst of people like that who are doing such amazing, heart-wrenching work.
For you, which awardees or nominees or winners, in a sense, made a good impression on you?
Almost everybody, but I was struck with Richard's work, you know, because of his condition. And the last sentence in his video, he mentions his name and says, "I am a proprietor." Wow. And it was like, oh, Lord. I hugged him. I said, you know, you are my winner.
Oh, isn't that sweet?
And I told his family that if I had anything to do, he would have won, you know. But I also recognize that my work is kind of cross-cutting. I work with all manner of people, including persons, children with disability who come to us and so on. And also have been in this for a very long time and stayed in it so I could understand. And after some of them came up to me and said, well deserving. I mean, you are mother, you know. Yeah, so you've been at this and you deserve it. And I thought that was very nice.
Yeah. But Richard won something.
Yes,
so at least
he did.
A category,
He did one of the categories, so that's good.
So how many years have you been at this, Angela?
Well, upwards of 25 years. I would say probably 30 years compounded. Even though I registered the Arc Foundation in 95, we started working formally from 99. So last year we were 25 years and this year 26 years formally. But in terms of the advocacy and the helping, way before.
Way before.
Yes.
As your friend and brother and Comfort and I had a conversation prior to this interview about your life and experience.
Right.
And one word came to our minds, and that was the word harvest time. Interestingly, the last 3 times we met, and I just can recall all 3, each of the times has been about something beautiful that has happened in your life and in your work. And I juxtapose that against, this probably is your 4th or 5th time here on the Virtual University. And over the past 25 years, we've interviewed you at different times, looking at your work and the journey and the struggle and the sacrifice. Then suddenly you come into a season, if I may use the word season, where it is one recognition after another and after another. Do you share the sentiment that is almost like all the years are beginning to pay off?
Absolutely. Instinctively, I knew harvest time will come. And then, of course, because I'm a person of faith, I've had a few people who have told me, Angela, it's harvest time. And I have held it in my heart. So when things started happening, I said, that's you, Lord. You know, you said it and you're doing it. Because it's been amazing. I must have shared with you this grant that it's a will. My professor, who passed 2 years ago, who actually supervised my PhD.
You can mention it.
Yes, Professor Alison Howell, beautiful Australian woman who came to Africa as a missionary and ended up becoming a lecturer, you know, and supervising me at PhD level at Akrofi Christalla. I knew she liked me. But I never would have thought that Alison, I didn't even know she had a house in Australia. You know, very modest person. It's beautiful. And then I get called by an attorney all the way from Australia. She says, Alison left the Arc Foundation money. We can transfer to you $100,000 almost immediately. If I tell you how much money we had at that time, you wouldn't believe me.
Tell me.
In our main account, we had just about 3,000 Ghana cedis.
And
at that time.
Had you prayed to God to come through?
That's what I do. So I almost fell off. It was in the middle of the night that I woke up and I just felt, let's pray a little, and then lying about, and I just picked my phone and this message was on.
Did you rub your eyes and see, hey?
I said, am I seeing? What is that? I hopped off my mat. And he said, after when the house is sold, later when I spoke to him about the few days later, you will get another that will be coming.
You're joking.
I'm telling you. It arrived at like 3 days after we spoke. And then the second one, it's on its way. I didn't even know she had a home that could be sold. She had property, and 15% residue was what she gave to us.
Angela, what do you think made Alison make this mind-blowing decision?
I don't know. She had always been interested in my work, and from time to time when she travels on a leave from Ghana to Australia, she'll come back with maybe 10,000 Ghana cedis. She raises funds from churches and so on to support the ark. Personally, her own, whatever allowance or pay she gets, she will give some of that. But to think she would actually leave in her will money for the ark, I mean, that's manna coming from heaven.
Charlie, the pastor in me feels like looking into this camera and telling somebody who has been so faithful in holding on. Charlie, for the person who has been very faithful, holding on to what God gave you, sacrificing for people and serving them diligently and wondering whether it is worth it. May a phone call like that, a text message like that, an email like that invade your life.
Amen.
Hey,
amen.
You have 3,000 in your account and you're saying, Lord, come through. And then you check your phone, your email, and they say $100,000. Then you go to sleep again, and you wake up and they say heroes have changed. Charlie. This is Springboard, your virtual university, where all the miracles happen. And it's just a beautiful conversation with my big sister, Dr. Angela Dwamena-Aboagye.
Also, East Legon Convocation gave me an award.
Yes.
Soon after, African Women Awards, Ethiopia, also 100 African women. Then Archbishop Margaret Bensinida Hosa, Kwefi, Christian Women Fellowship International, 50 Women Lifetime Award, 50 Women from Africa. That was all happened last year.
Wow. I'm going to come to the principle of a season, but since you said the one from MTN is the only one that added cash, I'm going back to tell the East Legon Convocation that new one that you had cash. You got selling the award. It can't be verbal and it can't be tricky alone. You should have the cash.
The cash helps.
The cash helps.
Because, if you do the kind of work I do, and of course, even if you look at the winners and what they do, I can bet my last penny that most of them don't even have allowances or salaries. For a very long time, I didn't have any. My husband didn't work. It would have been tough.
No, I know that. And from where I sit, I have the details. I'll come to your work, but let me indulge you a bit.
Yeah.
You're a pastor.
Yes.
You're a theologian.
Pastor.
A theologian. So let's explore the principle of seasons.
Right.
Because, Angela, somebody is pursuing a mission that God has given her, something that he or she is passionate about. But the discouragement is real. The mockery is real.
Yes.
Yesterday, I was teaching about the sons of the prophets who stand afar off and say, hey, Elisha, is there any profit or benefit in it?
Exactly.
There are people who stand afar off and laugh.
Yeah.
Use your example, your experience to encourage the person who's following their mission that don't throw away. Come on. If you can find it in yourself.
Absolutely. I mean, think about historical examples and biblical examples, whether it is Moses or Elijah, periods of discouragement, and you decide to trust in God who would take you where he needs you to be. I often think about Moses, for example, and I say, he didn't go to the promised land Canaan because of something he did that God was, but he was there at the transfiguration of Jesus.
Yes.
Which means he got to the real promised land, the Canaan.
Yes.
So God's faithfulness
It's unquestionable.
It's unquestionable.
Yeah.
And that's why nobody should give up on their dreams. If Winston Churchill could tell the Allied forces, never give up, never give in, no matter the strength of the enemy, never, ever, ever give in to the opposition forces or so on. That's what I'll say. Because truly, seed time and harvest time will keep coming and going. And the seasons of life are real. And I'm experiencing it myself. And I would encourage everybody to stay true to the course that God has given them.
Let's deal with the day when you're on the front pages, the day when you are in the headlines of the news, the day when everybody's saying this is a well-deserved award for work well done. What would you say about the long period between seed time and harvest time?
Waiting. And waiting is an active word. It's not a passive word. It is to commit to what you do, to ask God for his help on a daily basis, and believe it when he says that they that wait upon the Lord shall receive new strength. And believe you, there are times when I have to drag myself out of bed, not because I'm discouraged or even so tired, but the weight of working with people, it gets to you sometimes. What we do, this particular case, we need to take them to here, to the hospital, to this, and even how the person is so broken. And I wish I could just sleep. But I wake up and I go into my hiding place, like I say, and I start singing and asking God for strength, and I don't know how it happens. When I sit in my car and go, I can do whatever it is I need to do. I come back and it's like, where did I get all that energy from? Scripture is true. So that period of waiting for after the sowing, and the sowing is every day because you're doing work every day. But to think that there will come a time when the reward will come. And it does come. It comes. So we must learn to wait. We must learn to trust.
What is a place of passion?
Passion comes along with commitment. It's what you put in the work. It is that thing that makes people see that you are not doing some for show off. You are actually putting your soul in the work. That's the place of passion. And passion will drive the success you're looking for. Without it, you won't see the success that you're looking for, the good success, the all kinds of success I'm talking about, good success. So passion is an important ingredient in realizing a cause, a dream, how do you call it, a calling, and doing it in such a way that you come back and you say, I did something. Even without anybody saying, well done. You put in your best. You stayed the course. You didn't give up when things were bad, when things were hard. You did what you could with what you have, and something good is coming out of it.
Angela, let me ask you a few questions that I'm sure that you will not find strange, but are not very comfortable. Mm-hmm. Please, who sent you?
Reverend Albert, like this friend of mine, very, very good friend of mine who likes me very much, I know, and says, if I didn't know you and I didn't see what you're doing, the kind of work I'd say, Sandy, it's only
friends who can say that.
It's only friends who can say that.
This is foolish work.
Foolish work.
So who sent you?
Who sent me? So I grew up and got to know that God sent me. Because if it wasn't God, I don't know. People have done this. I mean, the people we started with, not only just the advocacy, but the work of service, serving people who are broken. And somewhere along the line, a number of them left off or have gone into other things and other areas, or it's too much. But there's never one day when I thought I want to stop this. For some reason.
Why?
That's why I think it's God. That's why I think it's a calling.
How do you know?
I know first because of the consistency of it. I know I can do other things, and sometimes I'll foray into other things without leaving this one. But none of those things gets my fancy, if you like, gets my attention, like working with people, women and children who are in such a place. So I love doing the advocacy. I like to preach in church when my pastor gives me the chance. I love to write, things like that. I like speaking on national issues when I get the chance to do that because I'm very passionate about national issues. But nothing beats working with abused women and children. Nothing beats that. And I've never been tired doing that.
It's a calling.
Yes, never been tired doing that.
How do you know you're calling? For anybody listening, how do you know that you're called to do something?
Well, so like I said, as I grew up doing this work, it got confirmed by a word of prophecy, or knowledge, word of knowledge, if you like. That said, this is what I called you to do. You do this work. You be doing that. I got that. But that was way,
It only confirmed what you knew already.
Exactly. And I was already in it.
Yes, that's what it's supposed to do. Confirm what God told you already.
So, exactly. You're putting the theology right.
Yeah.
People's dancing around it. Yeah. But yes, but as I very early on in life, one thing I didn't like was to see people being unjustly treated. So first of all, I didn't like conflicts because I feel in conflicts, people who have power would try to edge their way or bully others and so that sense of injustice was very keen. But second, I also realized that my focus was tuning in towards women, especially, almost all the time. I do tell people observing my father and my mother's relationship also shaped some of that because I could see that dad had appeared to me to have a lot of power, privilege, and mom had very limited. Even though when it comes to mind intelligence and all of that, I believe they had power, or my mom may even be more intelligent. I've said this over and over. He gets to go to school, be the lawyer. She gets truncated at standard 7, not because she didn't want to go to school and further education, but it's like you get married to someone who will marry you if you go to college. So, and then she marries and he can come in when he likes, do whatever he likes, but she has to dance around him all the time in terms of service and everything. Of course, I understand that women have a place, wives and husbands, but it's not supposed to be a hierarchical, orderly, patriarchal kind of system. If you come to especially the biblical understanding of it. So observing my parents alone told me something is not correct. And then also when I went to school, just a general thing. You're a woman, you want to excel, the guys will laugh at you. Even some of the women would do that you have a place, why do you want to be in front? Why do you want to talk? Why do you do well? Why do you beat the boys? So it was law school. Law faculty, family law, that's cemented for me intellectually. The basis of some of these things, the customary law, the relationships, from everything, property issues, family issues, intestacy issues, everything you could see that women occupy the subordinate position. And when you push that, the violence is what's at the end of it. You're so subordinate or so marginalized that if we violate you that way, that's also fine.
When I come back from the break, I'm going to find out your opinion about whether we've made progress. Because so many years of working hard can't have been fruitless. So we'll collectively find out whether the different interventions to correct what you see, and not just yourself, but what all of us see as a situation that required a correction,
right,
has seen progress. And then we'll talk about 7 people who can't pay you back. And where you find the strength from. Then we'll delve into what actually happens inside the ark, not Noah's ark, but what happens inside the ark. If you just joined us, this is the beautiful voice of Dr. Angela Dwamena-Aboagye. I can listen to her any day. And here at the Virtual University, we just celebrate people. It's our calling. It's our mantra for the past 18 years. That's all we do every week, celebrating somebody. What is beautiful about this country. And so listening to Angela Dwamena-Aboagye, you get a different perspective about our country, Ghana. And that's exactly why she's here. The MTN Heroes of Change Award just made it a springboard to this conversation. Let's go for a break. This is Springboard, your Virtual University, brought to you by the Springboard Roadshow Foundation in partnership with MTN Ghana, the Enterprise Group, and the Ghana Growth Program, a collaboration between MasterCard Foundation and Springboard. Please don't go away.
Good business means seeing the possibilities and maximizing opportunities. Making sure you have a responsive support system backs your business goals. A partner that gives you a stable platform with reliable connectivity and seamless solutions, and better understands the tools required to take you to the next level. With so many moving parts in running a business, we do our best to provide you with some stability. The only kind of stability you can find with MTN Business Broadband, the fastest and most reliable internet provider in Ghana, making sure you stay ahead and stay connected, because we understand what makes your business tick.
Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh or call or WhatsApp 0244 308 111.
MTN.
Whether it's 1924, 2024, or 2124, we've always known that you are driven by your sense of safety and well-being. It is what drives us to see you through from start to finish, from small to big. And in the last 100 years, as you have evolved, so have we also expanded to serve you in many ways. From cradle to grave, with expertise in insurance, life, pensions, properties, health, and for those beautiful memorable goodbyes. It's 2024, and in all our markets, our pedigree is recognized, our strength respected, our expertise valued, and our solutions sought by all who desire an advantage in life. Experience the time-tested and truly trusted 100 years legacy of Ghana's oldest insurer. Take charge of your future now. Insurance, life, pensions, property management, funeral services, health insurance. Enterprise, your advantage.
Learn something new every week and be inspired by innovations, impact, and success stories of individuals making strides in the agricultural, agribusiness, technical, and vocational skill sectors on Ghana Grows Ejuma with Arabo Kumsin and Yabitha. Join us this and every Thursday on Facebook at 7 p.m. at Ghana Grows, also at Comfort Okran A and at Albert N.E. Okran. On Fridays at 4 p.m. on Joy 99.7 FM and on Sundays at 5:45 p.m. on TV3. Ghana Grows is an initiative of MasterCard Foundation in partnership with the Springboard Roadshow Foundation. If you are a young person and you want to be a part of our various interventions, call or WhatsApp Ghana Grows call center on 0308 255 775. Follow us on all our social media handles. Ghana Grows Ejuma. Hope Day.
Welcome back to Springboard, your virtual university, and to this absolutely incredible conversation with my big sister and friend, Dr. Angela Dwamena-Aboagye of the ARC Foundation, unpacking the story of a season of sowing, a season of waiting, and a season of recognition and reward. I'm enjoying the last season because it is nice, but we need to also hear the seasons where nothing is happening and you wonder whether God is with you. And it says in those seasons, you just hold on to what you have believed and find the strength on a daily basis. Don't try to find strength for the whole month. On a daily basis to stay the course till the sun shines and the reward comes. And that is the voice of Dr. Angela Dwamena-Aboagye. Springboard is brought to you by the Springboard Roche Foundation in partnership with MTN Ghana, the Enterprise Group, and the Ghana Growth Program, a collaboration between MasterCard Foundation and Springboard. Our media partners, Joy 99.7 FM, Joy News TV, and the Graphic Communications Group. Let me bring you the Enterprise Advantage tip for today. And the question is the difference between home insurance and content insurance. So content insurance focuses on the valuables other than the building in a home, whereas in the broader context, the home insurance includes the value of the building and its contents. So obviously, when you do home insurance, it covers everything. This tip is brought to you by the Enterprise Group. Their number 030-263-4777. Email info@myenterprisegroup.io. Enterprise, your advantage. Let me remind you of the number to call or WhatsApp to find out more about some of the exciting things happening on the Ghana Growth Program. I'm sure many of you are intrigued by the ongoing Empower 360 program where young women are being given, and I know Doc would love this. The third cohort has young people, otherwise disadvantaged young women from different parts of the country selected and brought for training. This cohort is on batik tie and dye. It's also on, so batik tie and dye is number one. They have the opportunity to learn shoemaking, which is exciting for them. 2 different batches on shoemaking. And these people have been given, and then food processing. So these are the 3 batches that we are working with now. And apart from the fact that they get skills training, hard skills training, Doc, they are given the kit, the full kit that they need to do their work for free. And then given the first batch of raw material. Wow. So if it is batik tie and dye, they are given the cloths and the dyes.
That's really
but no capital, no cash. Produce from the cloths you've been given and then sell it, and that becomes your capital.
That's amazing.
This model has worked like magic.
It would.
And the beautiful thing, the first batch was mushroom farming. And after 2 months, the young ladies all produced and sold their mushrooms and packaged them. And guess the beautiful thing? The 2 best students, one is a person in a wheelchair, and the second is a person suffering albinism, or not suffering, but a person with albinism, and who has been discriminated against in a community. He says, nobody ever gave me a chance. So when I got this chance, I grabbed it with both hands. So the 2 persons supposedly with disability are our 2 best students.
Look at that.
It's a story that is just beautiful.
Astonishing.
Just beautiful.
Yes.
So the second batch did soap making, they did makeup, they did resin arts, and they graduated. This third batch is doing shoemaking, is doing food processing and batik tie and dye. And they are being given the starter kits. And you should hear them talk.
Yeah, the difference it makes to their
excited. One of them brought, and in all instances, there will be somebody who brought their little child carrying them. You're welcome. We'll find no need to take care of your child while you train.
That's
and it's just so empowering, Angela.
That's what empowerment is about, really.
Yeah, that is it. Yeah. So if you want to find out more about some of the exciting things, the career clinics, just how you can find some help to venture into the industries we are highlighting on the Ghana Growth Program, namely agriculture, agribusiness, and ATVET. Please don't delay any further. Just call or WhatsApp the call center. Just tell them, tell me more. That's 3 words. Tell me more about the Ghana Growth Program. And the number, please note, is 030 030-8255-775. 030-8255-775. You know that beautiful doc. When the last cohorts were coming, I mean, this batch had put from Bole, from Kintampo, and some of them, they just joined the program, joined the club, and they were told, you've been nominated for a training. How much are you paying? It's free. What are we supposed to do? They said nothing. Just sign up if you want. And they signed up. And their community said, listen, be careful. These things, they will take you to some country, go and send you to sleep. So the first day they came,
this comes,
and they were put in a hotel. They were sleeping there. They took pictures and sent it home. They say, are you sure? Let's see the second day. So at the graduation day with all the media present, they asked them, how does it feel? They said, listen, but for today, holding our starter packs and all the media covering us, there was still this lingering feeling that there is something behind it. It is absolutely free. It is nothing but just giving opportunity to the young people
and
of this
them
nation.
Grabbing it
And grabbing. I like that part. Grabbing it and running.
Running with
running with it.
That's amazing.
That's what we all are fighting for and moving. And talking about opportunity, Doc, every single week on this show, we select a business being run by a young person who does not even know that we are about to celebrate them in these sectors. And then you are at home, you are in your office, and people start calling you, want to buy. And they're like, what happened? They say, we heard it on Springboard. It's free.
We adverts.
Many of them, they just dropped they were listening to a broadcast like this. And they say, oh, me too, I do Tiger Nuts yogurt. Me too, I do this, my number. Then you go and check it out, check their Facebook page, take pictures, screenshots, and then blow it.
This is good.
It takes so little to help others, doesn't it?
That's the heart of it.
Yeah. So somebody's coming up right now. Agri-business of the week. And the business for today is Ross D Bites. Ross D Bites is your ultimate destination for all things food. And they say indulge in freshly prepared meals made from the finest high-quality ingredients to excite your taste buds. Charlie, the language I know, this Instagram language, it's not easy. So choose from a rich variety of local and continental dishes to delectable cakes and pastries. And we have something for every single palate.
Wow.
So this is Ross D Bites. If you want curated breakfast or lunch baskets, perfect for every occasion, just call this number 020-190-9383. 020-190-9383. This is our contribution to building a beautiful Ghana. Doc,
can you imagine paying for that advert?
No, it's free. And anyone that tries to reach out to us, we pay full price for what you buy from them.
Right.
Because we don't want a discount.
Absolutely.
So that we take advantage of giving you an opportunity. And so when you enter this place and you see all the African, the Ghanaian made products here, for all of them we pay full price.
Look at that.
Charlie, good friends must pay for what you do.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, good friends. The bad ones are the ones who come and take discount. I know this is controversial, but it's my opinion.
No. I think when you sow into somebody's life like that, they appreciate it.
Yeah.
And it shows.
Yeah.
So
back to our conversation, Doc. Before we went to the break, you're talking about societal inequality.
Yes.
I was raised by a single mother. Dora is my hero. I love her to bits.
We like that.
Yes. And this is the month of her birthday. So I smiled the whole month thinking about her sacrifice. A teacher.
Yeah.
She did her very best for us. So I understand what you're talking about and I can relate to it. So tell me, have we made progress in correcting what obviously are societal inequalities as far as women are concerned? Have we made progress?
Yes, to some extent, we've made progress. I mean, I look back even from just the 90s, mid-90s coming forward, when we started a group of young women who had been trained in women's legal rights studies and started making a lot of noise on radio stations about, the kinds of issues that women especially face, and to some extent children. And the names we were called, that alone, these days we don't get those names.
Yeah.
Maybe they say it in their heads.
I heard some.
You heard some.
I said, for you.
And more like people will meet you and say, how dare you, basically. Or this is witchcraft, or, you know, you learn some. So even the shift in seeing, you know, the perceptions of that tend towards some of us means there's progress. At least people now understand that when it comes to humanity, when it comes to men and women, you know, we need to be balanced. We need to be fair. We know something, for those of us who are spiritual or Christians especially, we know something went wrong because the dominion was given to both the male and the female, the rulership, the multiplication, the fruitfulness, and so on. So something went wrong. And it behoves society, and especially those of us who believe in God, to try and grab what he has given us to correct some of these things. And if you look at Ghana, for example, parity at class 1 happened not too long ago. If you remember the whole FAWI campaign, send your girl child to school. I mean, that made a huge difference. And it tells you that we actually had to campaign for even girls to get into class 1. And then later on, class 2, 3, you still have to campaign. And now at tertiary level, you even find more women in a lot of the colleges and universities, sometimes even outclassing the men. So we've made a lot of progress in that area. When it comes to maternal health, there's a lot of work in the health sector trying to bring down the numbers of women who die because they're doing what society expects them to do and to populate, you know, the country. So there are lots of initiatives in the health sector. Politics, we're still far behind when it comes to many countries, but that women even have the voice to speak up. When this is just the 90s, it was a lot was done. I mean, I've been in all those spaces, but my niche is the violence area. That is why. That's why I talk a lot about that.
Let's zoom in on that so that we won't end this show without people finding out what your effort really is.
Yes. So, for example, when it comes to violence against women, of course, sometimes also boys and men, we didn't have, the laws were not really in place. We had criminal legislation that didn't take into consideration domestic relations. You probably can't treat it the same way as it happens under criminal law. And we did. Were there also cultural
orientations that perpetuated some of these situations? Yes.
Absolutely, that's where it starts from. The perception, the values that we brought to who women are and so on, very strong. And even now, we have even cultural practices going on in this country, like witchcraft accusation against women mainly, cruel widowhood rights, female genital mutilation, child brides, thousands, trokosi, customary servitude. All of these things are still happening in our country, even though we have legislation. So legislation also shows that we've come much further. And I've been involved in a lot of those fronts. So at least that there's a law, and if we are minded to enforce, there will be something to use. So we've come a little further. In terms of institutional response, I think what we lack is capacity, number one, and two, coordination. Because we do have institutions. We have the police, we have the DOFSUS in the police, we have social welfare, we have SRAJ. SRAJ is spread across the country. Okay, we have even IOCO handles trafficking. So there are a plethora of institutions that are able to provide services when it's necessary. But still, I mean, if you don't come through the app, for example, and you go to the police station straight, the likelihood that some insensitive police will not even mind you. Exactly.
Let me stay on one of the issues that you mentioned. I want to get into the arc before we close today, because for the benefit of those who may not have heard about your work, they deserve to hear about your work and why you won the award and why you are a deserving winner. Okay. But just to bring perspective, Angela, I grew up knowing that my mother went through humiliating widowhood rights. And I look at the woman that I look up to as my mom, my hero, and I say, how dare you?
Yeah.
Is it that we don't sometimes relate to these things that makes us disconnected and just rubbish them? Why don't we see what you see?
It's a deeply ingrained thing. If you grow up believing that somebody is beneath you or subordinate to you, it comes with what you do to them. And secondly, when you even want to get rid of it, you need a lot of conscientization. We would say a renewal of the mind.
And we will say pulling down strongholds.
Exactly. Some of them are strongholds.
It is.
Pure strongholds. So for those of us who are multiple purpose, we use everything we have. The spiritual resources plus the legal resources, the psychological resources. That's what we do.
Tell us what you do.
So basically, the Ark Foundation, we call ourselves a Christian mission organization that works using the approaches of human rights and legal rights to bring about knowledge on protection of women and children, particularly. Women is the focus, children is secondary focus, but, almost invariably they're together. That doesn't make women minus, but you know what I mean by that. And we work to advocate for policy and legal change. We work to do a lot of training for different institutions, including churches. If you ask us, we'll come and do the training. Social services, police, and so on. We've done we train them on understanding the dynamics of gender-based violence, domestic violence, sexual violence, anything related to that kind of violence, and how to respond, basically. So the nature, the dynamics, the facts, the figures, all of that, and how to respond, because that's where our weakness is. Responding. We know it happens. What do we do if it happens? And
what do we do wrong?
So we don't understand it, so we say the wrong things.
Like,
for example, if a woman has been beaten and runs to you, pastors are a critical resource. And the first thing the pastor means, what did you do? Or why did you do that? Why didn't you cook his food? Okay, that's why you've been beaten. Go and repent. You won't think that she's probably reporting to you something that has happened 10 times already, because you don't understand the dynamics of violence. It's not a fight. It's not an equal, we are disagreeing. No. There's a dominator in the relationship. And that dominator does it in a cyclical manner. It will happen over and over again. And without strong intervention, whether from an institution, a family, or the person involved, or very fundamental change from the abuser, which doesn't often happen, but it's possible. It won't stop.
In ICG, see this compulsory training for pastors now in psychosocial support and counseling.
Yes.
Professional training.
Yes, I know, because the domestic violence part, I was asked to.
I know. So as you talk about it, it's interesting how somebody that you genuinely think you want to help, your first comment, your first response rather exacerbates.
In fact, you've caused more harm. The
ignorance can be a very dangerous thing.
Yes, it can be dangerous. No wonder Jesus stayed 3 years with his disciples, training them. You said that we should call down fire. No, you don't know of what spirit you are. I came to save, not to destroy.
Let's talk about the shelter. I know most people, the shelter is one of the big reasons why you won that award. And then we can go into the details of it, but just for the benefit of those who may not even know about the shelter. Tell us about the shelter.
Well, the shelter is like anybody's home with many people in it. That's where we provide refuge, accommodation, and a plethora of services to people who are running from danger or don't have an alternative immediately. So at the shelter, you receive not only the place to sleep, but food, clothing, hospital, NHI, antenatal care, going to school if the case is taking too long, going through skills training as an adult person, rehabilitation, resettlement, okay, because you don't stay there forever. And when you're leaving, we have to help you find a place, a community of your choice, buy the first mattress, all of that, cooking pans. If you have children, put them in school before we can let you go. But even then, we don't close the docket. We follow after you for a while to see that you're established, you're safe, before we say, okay, your docket closed. Even then, it's not completely closed, because sometimes an abuser can come after you again. So yes.
How does it feel supporting people that can't pay you in return?
That's it. They can't pay you in return. The pay comes with what you see them become. And that's the feeling you can't replace. You can't. So if you say pay, I have those who come and give me their first pay when they get unemployment.
How does it feel?
It's
priceless.
Or name their children after me.
Yeah.
Yes. Or, they write things and you want to cry. I had one just leave back home, to a country in Africa, together with their children, and what they wrote, I should have brought it. Yeah. I said, this one, I'm taking it from the office. I'm taking it to my bedroom. I want to read it. When I'm tired of it, I'll bring it back to the office.
In those moments when you wonder who sent you.
Exactly. Yeah. It was, just thinking about it is still getting me tearing me up.
So you do that in other African countries as well?
Yes, because there are people who would marry and bring them here and end up oppressing them so badly. So yes, there are people who have come from other African countries as far as the South, the East, the West African countries, yes.
Do you find an overlap between what you do as a minister of the gospel and what you do in the ARC Foundation? Yes.
To me, it's just a continuation of the journey of faith with God, or an integral part of it. I don't separate it. It's ministering, and that's it. So even in church, I do that for those who approach me when they have issues as well.
You have answered my question. Somebody described me as bivocational, and I said, Springboard is ministry for me.
It's ministry. It's ministry.
It's an extension of my ministry.
Exactly.
That is why I can create PCH and create stuff in the church that extends what I do at Springboard. If I can take somebody who starts life with nothing,
yes,
who you look at them in church, they have no aspiration, no future, and nothing, and you can literally work with and on them. And in 2, 3, 4 years' time, the person's life has changed.
It's the word becoming flesh.
Yes. It is God's work.
Yes.
It's a calling. That's what you've done all your life, my sister. This is what you've done all your life.
That's what you know. That's what I know. Yeah. That's where I sit. And it travels with me everywhere.
Simple.
It's ministry.
Yeah. Charlie, you are so close to that's why you know you can come here. You can come here. Look. So once again, accept our congratulations on what we universally think is a very well-deserved award, ultimate winner of the MTN Heroes of Change.
Thank you for this opportunity. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, and on the season of recognition.
Yes.
I think we've had a number of interviews, but this one leaves me with one theme, and I'm struggling to choose from my selection of scriptures which one fits this theme more. Like, cast your bread upon the waters and you will find it after many days. Or maybe do not be weary in doing good at the right time, in due season.
Yeah, in due season.
You will reap the reward if you don't faint. Which scripture will be on your mind?
How can you even select one? They all tag at your quotes. All of them apply. In due time, in due season, you will.
What's your favorite color?
I don't have one, actually.
That's why you're wearing different colors.
Yes, I like exactly. I used to think it was turquoise, but when I was growing up, I like a bit of pink, but not like reddish. I like a bit of yellow. So I found I don't have a favorite color.
You see, we started with turquoise. One way in school was red, gold, green, and blue.
You see, that was all.
And I said,
we have water, amber.
Charlie, you don't like that. What's your favorite food?
Kelewele.
Wow, with groundnuts.
With groundnuts.
Yeah.
In fact, I have to stop myself from eating it.
I know.
Yes, because that's my favorite food.
If you had to choose between Mother Teresa, Florence Nightingale, Joan of Arc, and
Which one you giving me a very difficult choice. I love all of them. I probably would think of would choose Joan of Arc, just because she was such a mystery to people. She was a clear leader. A woman leader was not a thing.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
You know why?
No.
You yourself are a mystery.
Oh, really?
Dr. Angela Dwamena-Aboagye, on any day I could have her in the studio and talk for hours. Just an amazing, brilliant lawyer, devoted her entire life to serving the underprivileged. She says the reward is who they become as a result of her intervention. And in a very selfish world where people look at what is in this for me, her reward is your progress, your stability, your rediscovery of your God-given potential. And that alone is what brings tears to her eyes when you write a letter to say thank you. So let me write a letter to you and say thank you for coming to Springboard, and please cry.
I'll try.
The tears are coming. Thank you so much, Doc. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Reverend.
This has been Springboard, your virtual university, talking about seed time, waiting time, and harvest time, changing narratives about Ghana and saying this country is a beautiful country depending on where you look. And today, you've seen Ghana through the eyes of Dr. Angela Dwamena-Aboagye. Springboard has been brought to you by the Springboard Roadshow Foundation in partnership with MTN Ghana, the Enterprise Group, and the Ghana Growth Program, a collaboration between Mastercard Foundation and Springboard. Our media partners, Joy 99.7 FM, Joy News TV, and the Graphic Communications Group. My name, Albert Okran, saying God bless you, and God bless you.